The story of the craftsman, the importance of creation. In a quiet village, nestled between rolling hills, lived an elderly craftsman named Dimitris. Dimitris was well known throughout the area for his ability to create beautiful works of art from wood, metal, and stone. He had spent his entire life working with his hands, pouring his soul into every creation. For him, every piece he crafted was not just an object, it was a reflection of his heart, a personal story told through the materials he used. One of Dimitris's most cherished creations was a small wooden doll he had made when he was young. Simple and unadorned, it had no intricate carvings or fancy decorations, but for Dimitris, it held a special place in his heart. This doll was his very first creation, and it reminded him of the early days of his craft. To him, it wasn't just a doll. It was a piece of his soul from that time in his life. Throughout his years, Dimitris had found joy in the act of creation. But beyond the joy of crafting, there was a deeper sense of fulfillment, a peaceful contentment that came from the process of making. Each time he completed a project, he didn't just see the finished product. He saw a part of himself in it. Every line carved, every piece of wood joined, and every detail applied held a personal story. One afternoon, as Dimitris worked at his bench, a young boy from the village, Nikos, came to visit him. Nikos had always been fascinated by Dimitris's skill and would often watch him as he worked. "How do you always make everything so perfect?" asked Nikos, filled with curiosity. Dimitris smiled and paused his work for a moment. "I don't make anything perfect, my child," he answered calmly. "All of my creations have their imperfections. But it is those imperfections that make them unique." Nikos looked at him, puzzled. "But shouldn't everything we make be perfect if we want it to be beautiful?" he asked. Dimitris sat next to him and began to explain. "True beauty isn't found in perfection, my boy, but in authenticity. When you create something with your heart, that is where the true value lies. Every mistake, every scratch, every line that isn't straight tells its own story. Beauty is not just in the final product, but in the process of creation itself. When you make something, you are not just making an object. You are making a piece of your soul that you share with the world." Nikos listened carefully, trying to understand the old man's words. "So, everything we do, we should do with our hearts?" he asked. "Exactly," Dimitris said with a gentle smile. "The true value in any creation comes from the intention behind it. When you make something with love and sincerity, that object becomes filled with energy that can touch others. It doesn't matter if it's small or large, perfect or imperfect. What matters is that you make it with your heart." Nikos sat quietly, reflecting on Dimitris's words. From that day on, he began to see creation in a new light. Whether he was making a small wooden figure for his home or helping in his family's garden, he now understood that the true value wasn't in the outcome, but in the intention and energy he put into each task. As the years passed, Nikos and Dimitris became good friends. Dimitris continued to create, and he inspired Nikos to find joy in everyday creation. Each of Dimitris's works, no matter how small, was a reminder that the true value of life lies in creating with love and authenticity, not in striving for perfection. The lesson of the story: creation is not just about producing an object, but about the process that connects us with our hearts and the world around us. True beauty lies in authenticity and in the love we put into each action. It doesn't need to be perfect. What matters is that it's real and filled with the energy of our hearts.